Hello, my name's Tas, Anthony Tasgal, trainer, author, strategist, speaker. I want to talk to you a bit about insight, which is quite a coincidence because I just happen to have a book out on the subject called The Insight Book, very helpfully. I thought I'd just give you an introduction to insight and just use maybe 3 quotes, and then we'll see how it goes. So, one of my key things on insight, David Mamet, film director. You should know I'm a big film fan. David Mamet once said the most important thing a director has to do is know where to point the camera. I think that for me is not a bad way of understanding what insight is. Insight is about trawling through huge amounts of data, information, etc. But being able to know where to fix the camera. What are you looking at? Where's the spotlight? What are you trying to achieve? How are you trying to make your observation, your insight actionable? Because if you're not pointing the camera, you're not focusing attention or your audience's attention on something, for me, it's not an insight. That's my first quote. My second quote, Isaac Asimov, famous science fiction writer and scientist. You may have heard of Foundation and Empire, which was filmed at Apple. And also Will Smith in iRobot, for any of the younger people watching. But as well as being a great science fiction writer, Isaac Asimov was a scientist, as I said, and a thinker about science and the theory of science. And what he said was this. He said, when scientists come up with a great moment, they don't actually go eureka, which is the stereotype. They go, that's funny. And for me, that's the second great quote on insight. Because again, in the book, I talk about insight isn't just what it is or what it does. It's how it feels. And for me, an insight should make you or your audience go, that's funny. Because that's the sense of surprise. That's the sense of something expected being violated, being challenged, being provoked. So again, if you're not creating that sense of that's funny, it's probably not an insight. So we had David Mamet, Isaac Asimov, and humbly, the third quote is going to be my own. I like to say, information is to be collected, but insight is to be connected. So again, I come from a world of market research, account planning, strategy, where people often mistake data for insight. And as I say in the book, there clearly is some overlap, but they're not the same. You don't get insight just from staring long and longingly at data. Insight is really about allowing system one, your unconscious, to make these new connections. So again, it's probably not an insight unless you're taking something and connecting it with something else. And my last film reference before we finish this, Suzanne Collins, so you may know, The Hunger Games. Again, I give many examples, many from film, but not just that in the book. Suzanne Collins talked about how she came out with The Hunger Games. And she said, one day I was just channel hopping. And one channel, there was a war film, war documentary. And another, there was a reality TV show. And in her unconscious, those two ideas sort of mixed and blended. And that's how she came up with the idea of The Hunger Games. So those three quotes, where do you point the camera? That's funny. Insight is to be connected. I hope you find that quite useful. A lot more available in the book. See you soon.